Effective listening and learning. Understand the stages and styles of effective listening. Identify and overcome barriers to successful listening. Enhance listening and learning skills for improved communication. Effective listening and learning. Effective listening is a vital skill that plays a crucial role in successful communication. Understanding the stages and styles of effective listening, recognizing common barriers, and implementing strategies to enhance listening and learning skills can greatly improve communication skills. What is effective listening? Effective listening is a dynamic and intentional process of actively receiving, interpreting, and responding to spoken or nonverbal messages with the goal of understanding the speaker's message accurately and empathetically. It goes beyond simply hearing words. It involves engaging both cognitively and emotionally to grasp the meaning, nuances, and emotions behind the communication. Key characteristics of effective listening: active engagement, empathy, nonverbal communication, withholding judgment, clarification, reflective responses, respecting silence, avoiding distractions. In both professional and personal contexts, effective listening is a fundamental skill that fosters meaningful connections, enhances collaboration, and contributes to successful communication outcomes. It is a skill that can be developed and refined through practice. Why is effective listening important for learning? Effective listening plays a foundational role in acquiring, understanding, and retaining information. 1. Information retention. Active listening helps individuals remember key details and ideas more effectively. 2. Comprehension of complex material. Listening actively helps learners break down complex ideas and understand abstract topics. 3. Clarification of concepts. Learners can ask questions and clarify difficult concepts through attentive listening. 4. Building a knowledge base. Listening is a primary method of acquiring knowledge from instructors, peers, and experts. 5. Enhanced critical thinking. Listening encourages individuals to analyze, evaluate, synthesize information. Additional benefits of effective listening: facilitation of communication supports, positive communication between students, instructors, peers. This enables collaborative learning and teamwork. Increased engagement. Engaged listeners are more likely to participate in discussions, ask questions, explore additional learning resources. Improvement of study skills. Listening strengthens overall study habits and improves learning outcomes. Development of interpersonal skills. Students who listen well can collaborate effectively, build positive relationships, contribute to group work. Stages of effective listening: receiving, paying attention to the speaker, understanding, interpreting, and making sense of the information, evaluating, analyzing the information critically, responding, providing feedback to the speaker, remembering, retaining the information that was communicated. An effective listener must hear the sounds, understand the message, evaluate the information, remember the message, respond appropriately. Styles of effective listening. Different listening styles are used depending on the situation. 1. Active listening: fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and remembering. Examples of engagement: eye contact, nodding feedback. 2. Reflective listening: paraphrasing or summarizing the speaker's message to confirm understanding. 3. Empathetic listening: understanding and sharing the speaker's feelings and emotions. 4. Critical listening: analyzing and evaluating the message to assess accuracy, validity, bias. 5. Appreciative listening: listening for enjoyment, such as music, speeches, storytelling. 6. Discriminative listening: distinguishing subtle differences in sounds, tone, pronunciation. 7. Informational listening: listening to learn and gather facts. 8. Comprehensive listening: understanding the overall message and context. 9. Therapeutic, supportive listening: providing emotional support and empathy, often used in counseling, mentoring, coaching. 10. Selective listening: focusing on certain parts of a message while ignoring others. 11. Task-oriented listening: listening to complete a specific task or goal. 12. Sympathetic listening: showing compassion and understanding toward someone's problems. Barriers to successful listening. Listening can be disrupted by various barriers. Physical barriers, environmental noise, distance from the speaker, physical obstacles. Physiological barriers, hearing impairments, fatigue, illness or health issues. Psychological barriers, prejudice and bias, emotional distractions such as stress or anxiety. Cognitive barriers, information overload, lack of concentration, multitasking or daydreaming. Linguistic barriers, language differences, cultural communication differences. Message-related barriers, complex language, unclear message structure, poor articulation. Environmental barriers, poor acoustics, bad lighting. Technological barriers, internet connectivity issues, audio or video equipment failures. Personal barriers, egocentrism, closed-mindedness. Social barriers, social expectations that prevent asking questions. Recognizing these barriers is the first step to improving listening skills. Strategies to improve listening and learning. 1. Active engagement. Focus fully on the speaker. Maintain eye contact. Ask thoughtful questions. 2. Practice mindfulness. Stay mentally present. Avoid distractions. Use breathing techniques to stay focused. 3. Enhance nonverbal communication. Use open body language. Nod and show engagement. Provide feedback cues like, I see, go on. 4. Minimize environmental distractions. Choose quiet learning environments. Turn off phones or notifications. 5. Develop note-taking skills. Summarize key ideas. Create visual aids. Organize notes regularly. 6. Cultivate empathy. Understand the speaker's perspective. Acknowledge emotions. 7. Set clear objectives. Define learning goals. Connect new information with existing knowledge. 8. Develop critical thinking. Evaluate information. Consider alternative viewpoints. 9. Participate in discussions. Contribute ideas. Ask questions. Listen to others respectfully. 10. Seek feedback. Ask peers or instructors about listening skills. Reflect on feedback for improvement. 11. Use technology wisely. Use educational apps. Engage with multimedia resources. 12. Maintain a continuous learning mindset. Stay curious. Pursue lifelong learning. Active listening guidelines. Focus attention on the speaker. Paraphrase and clarify. Summarize what was said. Avoid discussing your own reactions. Saying things like, I know what you mean. That happened to me too. I disagree because... This shifts attention away from the speaker. Important listening practices. Do not ignore the speaker's feelings. Ask for clarification when needed. Observe nonverbal communication, such as body language, facial expressions, tone of voice. Also avoid thinking about what you will say next while the speaker is talking. Exercises. 1. Critical listening. Explain how critical listening can help you in academic life, professional life, personal relationships, and civic responsibilities. 2. Listening style reflection. Which listening style best describes you? Which one do you struggle with the most? 3. Listening. Barrier example. Describe a recent situation where poor delivery or unclear communication made it difficult for you to listen effectively. Section Udburner 2. Stages and styles of effective listening. Effective listening is a crucial skill in effective communication. It involves actively receiving, interpreting, and responding to the messages being conveyed by the speaker. Effective listening goes beyond simply hearing the words spoken. It involves understanding the speaker's perspective, emotions, and underlying message. Here are some stages and styles of effective listening. Stages of effective listening. Receiving. The first stage of effective listening is receiving the speaker's message. It involves giving your full attention to the speaker, focusing on their verbal and nonverbal cues, and avoiding distractions. Maintaining eye contact, nodding, and using other nonverbal cues can demonstrate that you are engaged and attentive. Understanding. The next stage is understanding the speaker's message. This involves actively processing the information being conveyed and interpreting its meaning. It may require asking clarifying questions, seeking additional context, reflecting on the speaker's words to ensure comprehension. Evaluating. After understanding the speaker's message, the listener engages in critical evaluation. This stage involves assessing the information, considering its validity, examining biases or assumptions that may influence interpretation. It is important to approach this stage with an open mind and avoid jumping to conclusions prematurely. Responding. Responding is an essential stage of effective listening. It involves providing feedback to the speaker, indicating that you have understood their message, and expressing your thoughts or reactions. Responding can take different forms, such as paraphrasing, summarizing, asking questions, offering your perspective. Active listening skills, such as reflecting emotions and providing supportive responses, can enhance the effectiveness of your response. Styles of effective listening. Reflective listening. Reflective listening involves actively listening to the speaker and then reflecting back their words and emotions. It shows empathy and understanding and encourages the speaker to explore their thoughts and feelings further. Reflective listening techniques include paraphrasing, summarizing, clarifying what the speaker has said. Active listening. Active listening involves being fully present and engaged in the conversation. It requires giving undivided attention, maintaining eye contact using verbal and nonverbal cues. Active listening also involves asking relevant questions and seeking clarification when needed. Empathetic listening. Empathetic listening goes beyond understanding words. It involves tuning into the speaker's emotions, understanding their perspective, recognizing their experiences. Empathetic listening requires sensitivity, compassion, and emotional awareness. Non-judgmental listening. Non-judgmental listening involves suspending judgment and avoiding premature criticism. It requires listening with an open mind, accepting different viewpoints, withholding personal biases. This type of listening creates a safe and supportive environment for the speaker. Critical listening. Critical listening involves evaluating and analyzing the message critically. It requires assessing the information, identifying logical inconsistencies or fallacies, considering alternative perspectives. Critical listening helps develop constructive dialogue and informed decision-making. Barriers to effective listening. There are several barriers that can hinder successful listening and impede effective communication. Being aware of these barriers helps individuals improve their listening skills. Distractions. External distractions such as noise interruptions. Internal distractions such as personal thoughts, worries can divert attention from the speaker. Preconceived notions and biases. Stereotypes or biases about the speaker or topic can influence interpretation and prevent open-minded listening. Lack of interest or motivation. When individuals are not interested in the topic, they may not fully engage with the message. This can result in inattentiveness, misunderstanding, emotional state. Strong emotions, such as stress, anger, anxiety, can interfere with concentration and empathy. Information overload. Too much information can overwhelm the listener and make it difficult to focus on the main message. Poor listening habits. Examples include interrupting the speaker, finishing sentences for them, preparing responses before the speaker finishes. These habits reduce understanding and may appear disrespectful. Lack of empathy. If the listener cannot understand the speaker's perspective, genuine engagement becomes difficult. Language or cultural barriers. Language differences, accents, or unfamiliar cultural references may lead to misunderstanding. Lack of feedback. Effective listening requires feedback and interaction. Failing to ask questions or clarify ideas can hinder understanding. Physical and mental fatigue. Fatigue reduces concentration and affects the ability to process information accurately. Overcoming listening barriers. Overcoming these barriers requires conscious effort, active engagement, self-awareness. Practicing effective listening techniques can improve communication and understanding. Improving your listening and learning skills. Improving listening and learning skills enhances Communication knowledge, retention, meaningful interactions. Be present and focused. Give your full attention to the speaker. Minimize distractions such as phones, noise interruptions. Practice active listening. Use techniques such as paraphrasing, summarizing, asking clarifying questions. Demonstrate interest using eye contact and nodding. Avoid interrupting. Allow the speaker to finish their thoughts before responding. Focus on understanding their perspective. Develop empathy. Try to understand the speaker's emotions, experiences, motivations. This strengthens communication and relationships. Enhance concentration. Improve focus through techniques such as mindfulness, deep breathing, meditation. Take effective notes. Capture important ideas, details, and key points. Good notes help reinforce learning and serve as a reference later. Seek clarification. Ask questions when information is unclear. This demonstrates engagement and improves understanding. Reflect on what you learned after conversations or learning sessions. Review key ideas. Consider different perspectives. Connect new knowledge to previous knowledge. Engage in active reading. When reading materials, highlight important points. Write notes. Summarize key ideas. This improves comprehension and retention. Seek diverse information sources. Expose yourself to different viewpoints to broaden knowledge. Practice critical thinking. Analyze information carefully. Evaluate credibility of sources. Examine evidence supporting claims. Continuously learn and seek feedback. Adopt a lifelong learning mindset. Seek feedback and reflect on listening experiences to improve skills. Improving listening and learning skills is an ongoing process that requires practice and dedication. Applying these strategies will help you understand information better, retain knowledge more effectively, and communicate more successfully. Any questions? Thank you. If this was helpful, please like and subscribe, and leave your questions in the comments below.